When the opportunity came, I crossed 2 oceans with borrowed money for airfare and only a $20 bill in my pocket. In the US, I worked in a research center part-time while taking graduate classes in economics, and with the little I earned, I would finance myself, and then I would send money home to my brother and my father. My story is not unique. There are millions of people who migrate each year. With the help of the family, they cross oceans, they cross deserts, they cross rivers, they cross mountains. They risk their lives to realize a dream, and that dream is as simple as having a decent job somewhere so they can send money home and help the family, which has helped them before. There are 232 million international migrants in the world. These are people who live in a country other than their country of birth. If there was a country made up of only international migrants, that would be larger in population than Brazil. That would be larger in its size of the economy than France. Some 180 million of them from poor countries send money home regularly. Those sums of money are called remittances. Change. Here is true, people send $200 per month on average, but repeated month after month by millions of people, these sums of money add up to rivers of foreign currency. So India last year received $72 billion, larger than its IT exports. Egypt. In Egypt, remittances are 3 times the size of revenue from the Suez Canal. In Tajikistan, remittances are 42% of GDP. And in poorer countries, smaller countries, fragile countries, conflict-afflicted countries, remittances are a lifeline, as in Somalia or in Haiti. Remittances are dollars wrapped with care. Migrants send money home for food, for buying necessities, for building houses, for funding education, for funding healthcare for the elderly, for business investments, for friends and family. Migrants send even more money home for special occasions like a surgery or a wedding. And migrants also send money, perhaps far too many times, for unexpected funerals that they cannot attend. Much as these flows do all that good, there are barriers to these flows of remittances, this $400 billion of remittances. Foremost among them is the exorbitant cost of sending money home. Money transfer companies structure their fees to milk the poor. They would say, up to $500 if you want to send, we will charge you $30 fixed. If you are poor, and if you have only $200 to send, you have to pay that $30 fees. The global average cost of sending money is 8%. That means you send $100, the family on the other side receives only $92. To send money to Africa, the cost is even higher, 12%. To send money within Africa, the cost is even higher, over 20%. For example, sending money from Benin to Nigeria. Remittances, unlike private investment money, they don't flow back at the first sign of trouble in the country. They actually act like an insurance. When the family is in trouble, facing hardship, facing hard times, remittances increase. They act like an insurance. Migrants send more money then. Unlike development aid money that must go through official agencies, through governments, remittances directly reach the poor, reach the family, and often with business advice.